Okay, so what we're doing here, we're actually going to implement these record off advices and sell down some of these managed funds and put the money into completely new managed funds based on this model portfolio. Now I'm going to work on Richard Ania, which already has a record of advice gone out to the client. I've identified that it's a high growth investor, so this is what the client's new model portfolio looks like, on which you'll have a copy of this. So what we do is go into ioof.com.au, log in, log in, click on list all clients, then I'll select A. Terribly slow, this computer. So as you know, we're working on Richard Ania. Click on manage account. Then I want to click on switch investments. Then I want to click on the third one. Then I just click next past all of that. Okay, so all of this stuff is what we're effectively selling out of, well, some of it anyway, and putting the new money into this model portfolio here. So it's high growth. This is the selection of managed funds, and we put the allocation in according to whatever risk category they are. So you can see here this client is high growth, which pretty much is the cash account, then every managed fund here from the Legg Mason Property Security Trust down to Lazard Global Small Cap Fund, but not Invesco, because you can see here it's a 0% allocation for the high growth investor. So what we then do is click on switch, go to next, and we will then have to nominate what managed funds we are selling out of. So this is the client's existing portfolio, and we just have to work our way down. So what you do is, for example, the first one here, Aberdeen Asian Opportunities Fund. We click on the model portfolio and we look for Aberdeen Asians Opportunities Fund. Now, because it's not there, we're going to sell 100% out of it. Then for the next one, Aberdeen Australian Small Companies Fund, this is actually still here. The allocation for it now is 3%. Over here it's 6%, so that means that we have to sell out of about 50% of it. It's not allowing me to go backwards. It's a bit funny, this computer. Okay, so I switched out of 50% of that, and I just keep working my way down the list. Again, next, Aberdeen International Equity Fund. I can't see it anywhere here. And it's particularly not in the high growth portfolio, so we sell 100% out of that. And because I already know some of these managed funds, I know of what is there and what's not there. So the Legg Mason Martin Curry Property Security Trust is here. So it's actually this one. So how I know that it is the Legg Mason Property Securities Trust is because I've matched this APIR code with the APIR code here. So it's exactly the same. SSB 0128. SSB 0128. So that's there, and I can see here that it has an allocation of 3% in the high growth model portfolio. Over here it's got 7%. So look, I'm just going to say we're going to switch out 50% of that. And again, the rest of them do not exist in the the new model portfolio. So I am selling out 100% of this. And then I'm just going to select next. This brings me to the next screen. The computer will automatically sell down a lot of the client's existing funds. Total amount sold 128,000, which is just about right. So that means we have 128,000 to play with and put into new managed funds. So now we just got to go out and find them. So in order to do this, we're going to select it via asset classes. So the first one being Australian property growth. So what I want to do, I want to go down to Australian property growth. Okay, so I can't find the Legg Mason Property Securities Trust now. So I'm going to start from this end, from Lazard Global Small Cap Fund. So because it's a global fund, I just look up international. So it'll be under global shares somewhere, more than likely under small companies, and we can see it here. So Lazard Global Small Cap Fund, LAZ0012. Then we go LAZ0012, so that matches up. And under the high growth model portfolio, which is the last one here, we're putting 7% in there. So we just go 7%, and that's done. So we tick that off the list. It might even help you to print this out. I'm not sure how you want to do it, but the next one is the Antipodes Global Fund. So again, it will be somewhere under international funds. So let's try this one. No, you can't see it there. Is it here? No, it's not there. I'm going to have to look for it. Is it here? No, it's not even here. The Antipodes is under here. You can see it here. So we click there and we look Antipodes Global Fund. How much is in there? Okay, so there's 18%. That's quite a lot. So we throw 18% in there, like so. Make this smaller. Then go to the next one, Magellan Global Hedge. So again, it's global shares. So it will be under international shares somewhere. Let's try, well, it says, what is it? Hedged. So it's probably under global shares, large companies hedged. There it is. Put the cursor there. Go back to the model portfolio, work out how much we're putting in there. And we're only putting 5% in there. So we just go 5%. T Rowe Price, again, it's a hedge fund, so it's probably under here as well. T Rowe Price, there we are. Click here, work out how much we're putting in here. So it's 15%, like that. And now we're moving our way up to Australian companies. So OC Premium Small Companies Fund. So that will be under Australian mid to small companies, and we go down here, OC Premium Small Capitals Fund, click there, work out how much we're putting in, so it's 4%. Put that like that. The next one is the Aberdeen Australian Small Companies Fund, so it's actually going to show up in here because we've already selected it. Up here, there you go, Aberdeen Australian Small Companies Fund, and we've already sold out out of 50% of the 6%, so that's just going to come down anyway, so we don't worry about that. The next one is the SGH ICE Fund, so again, it's under the Australian heading, so we just look for where it could be. It's actually in here, so we click there, work out how much is going into this managed fund, so it's 5%. So we select 5% like that, and the next one along is the Perpetual Share Plus Long Short Fund. It's actually here. and I have put that I'm selling out of 100% of it, which is actually incorrect. But because I'm so far through the piece doing this model portfolio, I'm just going to leave it for now and then make another switch as soon as I submit all of this. So I'm just going to leave that like that. And keep working my way up. The Fidelity Australian Opportunities Fund. So that's more than likely under Australian large cap. So we look for Australian large companies. Go down to Fidelity Australian Opportunities Fund. Yep, that all matches up. And we're putting 17% in here. And we're moving along quite nicely now. So global property. So let's go to the heading Global International Property. Just minimize a couple of those. Property, Australian property, global property, and resolution cap global property securities fund. Let's work out how much we're putting in here. We're putting 2% in there. So that just goes like that. And then the next one up is the Legg Mason Property Securities Trust, which is the last one underneath the high growth model portfolio because, except for cash, of course, but because it's high growth, we don't worry about any of the bond managers. So this is Australian property. So let's see where this is. So it's Legg Mason, Martin Curry. So I can't find it under here. So property. Okay, so this one here is under Legg Mason Property Securities Trust. So this is under alternative investments, which is here. When there's two that look quite similar to this, we just want to make sure we're matching the APIR code SSB 0026, SSB 0128. So that's obviously incorrect. Okay, so you can see up the top here that I've only actually allocated 73%. Now this is mainly because for the life of me, I actually can't find this anywhere. So I've still got to allocate 3% into the high growth model portfolio. In addition, I'm also missing out on the perpetual long short fund on which the high growth model portfolio we're putting 19% into. So once I put that 3 plus 19%, that's going to take this up to about 95%, and then the rest will just go into cash, so we can make it 100, and then we just press submit. So because I've come so far through the piece to enter everything here, I'm just going to submit this. We actually do have to make this 100%. So I'll come back to the cash account in a moment and do the rest. You can see this computer is quite finicky. So that's 100%. I'm now going to press next. Now, hopefully when you do this, you'll be smart enough to, as I said, pinpoint that I shouldn't have sold down. I should have sold 100. I should not have sold down perpetual trustee company to start, but rather added to it, and also have been good enough to find this, but I couldn't. Oh. Okay, somehow the computer has given me a way to redo this. So you can see here that the Perpetual Wholesale Trust Company Fund, there's going to be 19% that goes in there. At the moment, there's 8%. So I just want to obviously change this to 19%. For some reason, the computer won't allow me to go backspace. So just got to somehow. There you go. Now we're over allocated. So let's work out where we are actually over allocated. So what the computer's actually done has just put my original investments in. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is pretty much do the whole process again, and yeah, select all these investments into the way I showed you how to. The only thing I'm going to change from what I initially did was just make sure these existing funds are the exact right allocation. So the only two funds, well, we're keeping three funds. One of them was the Aberdeen Australian Small Company Fund. We are keeping 3% there. So you can see here that the Aberdeen Australian Small Company Fund, there's currently 5%. So you just want to put 3 there. And the Resolution Capital Properties Fund, we're also going to keep that. And there was only a 2% allocation there. So we just go 2%, and the rest of the managed funds, I'm just going to have to upload again. So again, in cash, there's 2%. So we're just going to put it's impossible, this computer. Okay, and obviously the rest of them, so this one we're selling out of, 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 that one we're keeping, that one we're selling out of, this one we're keeping, this one we're selling out of, and obviously up here we're keeping that one. So now I just have to, yeah, select the other managed funds like I said to you. Just realized the reason why I could not find the Legg Mason Property Security Trust Fund is because it's already in the portfolio. So the new allocation to that is 3%. So we just put in, well, sorry, we click on that one, tab down, 3%, and that one's going to stay in the portfolio. And then we just update the. Okay, so once we select next, this screen pops up and it says to me, do you wish to set up a regular savings plan and BPay instructions? I don't need to do that, which will be the same for everybody. We click next again. And we always want to reinvest 100% of the income distributions because we don't need the cash for any reason. Then do not want to do that.